Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Abundology podcast. My name's Renee Spears, and I am talking to Terry Bradford and Mary Wilmer, better known as Terry and Mary, and they are the creators of Gratitude Perks. And Gratitude Perks is where you learn how to use the power of gratitude to elevate your life. Now, they have a very interesting background, so I'm going to talk a little bit about that before we get started. Mary has an entrepreneurial background, and that includes producing live events and working with artist management companies and agents that represent some big names like Leslie Jordan and Jenna Elfman. And then talk about big names. Terry is a singer-songwriter and music producer, and he was the 1990 Star Search male vocalist champion. I love Star Search. Oh my God, I can't believe that you won. I'm sure I probably watched it at that time too. Terry was also Celine Dion's duet partner on her world tours. He worked on The Lion King, as well as other movies with musical artists like Stevie Wonder, Linda Ronstadt, Elton John, and so many more. So thank you guys for joining me. We are talking about gratitude, which before we got on here, where you guys asked, well, what are some questions that you have about gratitude? And it's like, I don't, because this is how I live. And I would love to hear how you two got started on the gratitude journey.
Oh my goodness. Um, we really got started not during COVID, but there's a backstory to how we got to this is we had a brick and mortar business at the start of COVID, and like so many of us, we had to close it. And we brought that business home, which was Terry's a voice and piano teacher, as well as singer-songwriter, all things extraordinary. um, and in doing that, we lost probably half of our students because we're just a really hands-on kind of group of people where we're huggers and we have great conversations. And so people miss that. And so over the years, we've lost like even more than that. And we did find during the COVID help that we all had. And then eventually we weren't doing so well. And so every month we kind of managed to make it, but we're like, oh my God, this is crazy. And so one month we got like some really big check, was a residual check from Terry's films and things he's done. And we were just like so excited. It was so unexpected. We started just jumping up and down literally in our living room.
You know how you get.
Yes.
Exactly, exactly. And you're going to hear us talk a lot about us. We've just kind of pooled our resources as manager and artist to do this. And so we were just in the living room, jumping up and down and being grateful, just so excited. And that felt so good that we just started doing more and more. And we started with little things like his birthday is 10/22, mine is 6/26. And then when we see those times on the clock, we literally stop whatever we're doing and we just start clapping. I'm so grateful for. And we'll talk about things we currently have in our lives and things that we want, like we really have them already. And the changes we've experienced, just some of them are just a little intangible, but so real is that we don't panic or freak out now when money doesn't seem to be appearing. And we don't go back to, oh my God, how can we get more students? How can we go do, some of the stuff we're not really called to do anymore? And so that's just become a way of life. And now we've incorporated other aspects of gratitude into it all.
And one of the things that I notice is in gratitude, how can I explain it? You're what you do in life, whatever you're doing, you get involved in and it works for you, right? It's your thing. Whatever you're doing, you're just feeling really good about it. We tend to miss the joy if we don't recognize what's really going on in our lives. We miss the joy that we could be experiencing. it's Mary was talking about something yesterday where she was like, something where the a person is living in a place where there are diamonds underneath, right? And it's just all these diamonds underneath the place. And the person has no idea.
Yeah.
So the person is they're starving, they can't get enough to do anything with their place, they're just living in poverty. And then they finally realize, hey, there's diamond under here. So they get a couple of them and they use a couple of them. So they don't use all of them. And now the house is clean. Maybe they can eat a little bit, but they're still not where they really could be if they recognize this thing or realize this thing and was able to make use of the diamonds that are underneath the house. Well, gratitude is those diamonds underneath the house. You understand what I'm saying? So go
Yes.
ahead. I
Yes.
see you. You're trying to say something.
I love that analogy. That's so good because I think there is this in our society where we're
Mhm.
always going for the next thing, the next
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
I remember when I years ago when I owned a mortgage company, we won this
Mhm.
prestigious award,
Mhm.
and it was like I'd been working for it for a year and I won this award. An
Mhm.
hour after I won the award, I'd forgot all about it and was on to the next thing. And I think we live in a society like that where we don't take the time to appreciate the now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yes.
and all the abundance that we do have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It was funny. Back when I did Star Search, we'll go there. So when when I was on Star Search, well, first of all, getting on Star Search was funny. I auditioned one time and I was like, they told me, "Hey, you are fantastic. You're going to be on it." And I didn't get a call.
Mm.
So then I auditioned again at another time. And they were like, "Oh my God, there's no one like you. You're going to be on it." And I didn't get it. They didn't call me. And so I did it. I think it was two more times. The last time I was like, okay, forget it. Right? I'm just it's not for me. Meanwhile, no, now this is the other side of the coin. Meanwhile, a friend of mine she was like, "Hey, me and my partner we're going to hang out in what was it? Palm Springs." And and we need and we're gonna leave the cats, and so can you come and see, watch the cats? I said, sure, I'll come watch the cat. So I come to watch the cat, and they had this little book about, really manifesting, etc. And I hadn't done any of that. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll take a look at this book. So I looked at the book and I was like, I need, because hey, I was a poor, broke musician trying to get ahead, right?
In LA.
So I'm like, okay, I'll take a look at it. I'm reading that and I was like, oh, I can manifest the money? Well, the only money I had been thinking about was that $100,000, from Star
Yeah,
Search,
from Star
right?
Search.
That
Yep.
was the money I had thought about. And so I was like, I'll manifest that 100,000. So I sat there and I actually was like, okay, okay. I'm visualizing, I'm watching it, I'm seeing it come into my hands. Wait, and I was like, but what if it just doesn't appear in my hands? Well, maybe it'll appear in my bank account. Okay, so I'm gonna see it appear in my bank account. I went through all those changes trying to make it appear that day. That day. I was not talking about in the future. I was like, that day is right now. And I was just feeling the money. I was like, I feel it. I was so excited. I was just overjoyed at this feeling. But by the end of the day, it hadn't shown up. So I was like, oh, I see. Right? Now, cut to a couple months later, I get a phone call. I had an audition that year. I just happened by watching the television, right? I was watching and there was this girl singing and I didn't even know what show it was. I just happened to change the channel and this girl was singing and I was like, oh, she's good. And I was like, she sounds good. And I was like, who is that? I wonder. And then at the end, it was Star Search. It was like she finishes her song and it's like, "Nah," and she gets 4 stars or whatever. And I was like, oh, this is Star Search. I was like, oh, well, she's good, right? That was the only, I hadn't been watching Star Search. I had just left it off my plate. And the next thing you know, I get this call. And the call is like, I hear, this is so-and-so who does the booking for Star Search. And I said, uh-huh. And he's like, we were wondering, because, this is our last day for auditions, if you would come down and audition. And I was like, I'm about to go to lunch with my friends. I can't go down and audition. So I turned him down. And he's like, this is Star Search. Do you know who? I was like, yes, I do. I said, you guys can call me next year. I did this whole thing. So afterwards, he was like, you know what? If we'll do an audition for you tomorrow, will you come? I said, yes, I'll do that. So I did. And at the end of it, the the producer came up to me and he was like, oh, this, he told me his name, which I can't remember now, but he says his name. And I said, oh, I know who you are. Of course I had. And he says, he said, well, we'll see, if you don't hear from us within the next, 4 or 5 weeks or whatever it was, he says. And I thought, here we go again. And the guy behind him, he comes behind the guy who was the booking agent. He says, you will be hearing from us tomorrow, right? And I was like, okay. So tomorrow I did not hear from them. It was a couple days later I heard from them. And I mind you that tomorrow I was sorely disappointed. I was like, see, it happened again. There it was. But then I heard from them, and then I did the show, and then I won, and I got the $100,000. Did I think at that time about what I went through when I was babysitting the cat? No, I didn't think about it.
Right.
Was it on my mind the whole time? No. You understand what I'm saying? So what happened was, when I was there doing this stuff, I know I'm taking up all the time, but but when I was there doing this with the book, when I was going through this manifestation, I was feeling what you feel when you are in gratitude. I was so happy and so grateful to have that $100,000. It just happened. And I was going through all the emotions. And what are the emotions doing? What are they doing? It's doing that thing that what we were just looking at on the quantum field. It's doing that thing that goes out and what pulls in all of that stuff. It pulled in that $100,000. It pulled in the whole thing that I was envisioning, that I was feeling, because the emotions, that gratitude emotion, that feeling that you get in gratitude was the thing. That was the key to getting to the next place. That you were talking about people going for the next thing. Well, it's easy. All you gotta do is be there.
Can you see we're having fun with this? With the whole gratitude thing.
From the quantum level, if we're talking about that, an energetic vibration, love and gratitude or appreciation, they're the same vibration. Those are the two highest vibrations.
Yes.
And manifesting, it may take a while for it to actually show up. But what you says is the important part is being in that gratitude right now. We don't have to wait. We don't have to wait for the 100K to show up, or the guy, or the job, or the this. We don't have to wait. We can feel so great right now.
Yes.
And we, so many of us prevent ourselves from going there.
Yeah. It's the fear, the preventing. We're so afraid that I'm afraid to say I can have this. I'm afraid to say I can be this, because I'm scared I'm going to be disappointed. I'm scared it's not going to happen. But you know what? It's going to happen if you allow it. You have to be in that gratitude. You have to have that, go for that feeling, go for that insight, go for that actual thing. Do the practice, and it's definitely going to happen.
Yeah.
And you can let go of that fear. You can let go of all of that.
Yes. Yeah.
I know.
So talking about practices, what are some practices that we can take Because I think we all know that, write down the 3 things before you go to bed at night. I think everybody in America knows that
Yeah.
now.
The journaling.
And I am not, saying anything bad about that. That's a fabulous practice. But what are some other ways that we can work gratitude into our lives?
Well, let me say one thing about that journaling, because I've been one that I tried that and did not like it. It became like a chore at the end of the day. Even though there were things that day to be grateful for, I couldn't remember them. And so the other day, I just happened upon something, I think just between thinking and you're thinking about it and it shows up, is as they're happening for you, like carry something around, or even if it's a recorder, and make note of it then. And I know I saw something with Oprah the other day where she has been doing that kind of journal for years. And she kind of, as she wakes up, she's like, she gets excited, like, oh, who's going to open a door for me today? Or who's going to, whatever it is. And then she said, we all have our bad days. So on those days, it's like, okay, I'm still breathing. I'm still here, So that helped me on that. I still don't know that that's my favorite method. I love the idea of, I have a friend who does like gratitude walks. Now it's just a normal walk. I'm outside my house, I'm walking, but she starts from coming out of her doorway, she starts to look at everything and like thank it. First, she's like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And then by the end, she's just like, thank you, Leaf, thank you that. And it just becomes like fun, and and people may look at you crazy, so internalize it if you want, but she's just walking and talking and having fun. So it's doing things you love and incorporating how can I see the gratitude in that. Another one that's a lot of people do, but I love the twists on these things, is a gratitude jar. So if it's either yourself or your family, you put in like everybody write out every day like one thing you're grateful for. And the twist on it is like put some memorabilia in, like if there are concert tickets you have, or you found a feather or that kind of thing. So maybe it's a giant jar. And then the key to a lot of this to me that people seem to overlook, it's like make some time at some point to go through this jar on your own or as a family and reflect back on these things. Take turns reading them back to each other, take out the tickets and just talk about what was so wonderful about the concert and that experience. So, these little twists for me make it fun and exciting.
And the
Do you have-
practices are different for everybody. So
Absolutely.
you know how we all learn differently. It takes this for me to learn something and that for you to learn something. Well, the same thing with the practices. So for journaling, let's say somebody is, they love writing. It's all about that. Well, you can tell I'm left-handed, right? So,
Yeah.
but they love writing. So journaling for them because their brain and their hand is so connected that's what really makes them feel what they're writing. You know what I'm saying? So journaling in that way, and we got a journal on our website.
Yeah.
So because it takes that. Some people it takes that journaling to do it.
Yeah.
Some people they like it's about games. It's about what can I do? How can I play this game and it's gonna be fun? You know what I mean? So playing the games, we also have that book. We got a book of games, but you have the games and you say, okay, well, this game and this is the way, because this is the way it really gets to me. This is the way it works for me. Here's one of the things that I also know, that gratitude is not just you giving, you doing for others and being grateful in that way. It's when someone receives from you, or when they go, oh, wow, you know what? I really appreciate how you are this. That scientifically has done more for the brain in terms of gratitude than the actual thing of you feeling good about what you do.
Right,
Forever.
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's such a funny thing how it really works in that way. But it gets in there because what I realize is that when people when you're when you're up and you're like, hey, I just did this or I feel this or someone has, I've got this thing. When someone says, thank you to you, you in turn feel this happiness, right? I had to stop and go, here's the feeling. It's this happiness, like, oh wow, it feels good. But what that feeling is you're now grateful to yourself. And some people, they'll be grateful to the powers that be, so to speak, the universe or what people call God or all that stuff. But you're grateful to yourself for having stepped out of yourself to do that thing, to be that person, to go, you're so happy that you did this in your life, that you became this in your life. So that's the part where you are now talking to you in a way you've changed the story that you have, that you can either be this or that you can do that or that you are this, so you've changed that story.
Yeah.
And that's gratitude changing your life in a real way.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah,
what
that's a
you're looking
very
for.
good point. And I do love what you're saying about personalizing gratitude because, the writing the three things down before you go to bed, that isn't for everybody. I'm
No.
so
Right.
tired when I go to bed. There is no
Yeah,
way.
that's the last thing you want to do.
I,
Like maybe you like having people over for dinner and you could be telling stories of things you're grateful for. Just
yeah,
you can incorporate it into how you live your life.
how you live your life.
Personally, I don't go for walks a lot. I love exercise, but I have bad allergies.
Yeah.
And
Like what I'm going through now,
yeah,
right?
and I'm working on that. I did some acupuncture years ago that got rid of them. So when I do that again, I'll take on gratitude walks. But in the meantime, I find other things. When I'm brushing my teeth, I start doing things. I saw I name dropping all these people, but Mel Robbins, I don't know if you know her. So she does her stuff in the mirror every day, getting ready. And then at the end, she like high fives herself, like, just like I'm grateful you're in the game, that kind of thing. So there's so many ways to express gratitude. And even for people that feel like I have nothing to be grateful for, if you can just start with, I got hair on my head, it's going, I'm breathing, sometimes it takes that. So then you can start like focusing more on what's working and you'll start to see more things are working than aren't. But it's a process. So kind of start where you are and, uplift it through.
Take a look at the
Yeah.
diamonds, right?
Yeah.
Right
And,
onto your house.
yeah. And start. So in order to shift your life, you must start this. This is the most transformational thing that people can do. That's easy, that you immediately feel great.
Yes, and it doesn't
Absolutely.
cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you
You
anything.
don't have to go buy a journal. You don't have to go, invest in a club or anything. It's like you got, your thoughts. Just start turning them around.
And if we're talking about having an incredible life, it really is us attracting great things. And if you are vibing really high, like love and
Yes.
appreciation, you don't really have to do anything. I'm going to be honest. I manifest just by thinking about it for a second. It's because I'm in this vibe of appreciation 24/7. And when things don't work out, I always look at the positive of why things don't work out. There's always a positive to that. I had a client recently, and she was a contestant on one of the cooking shows. So she made the finals and she went down to LA and she's auditioning, there the whole time. I want to make this cooking show. I want to get on this cooking show. She didn't make it. And then as soon as she didn't make it, she's like, I'm so glad I didn't make it. It wasn't real. I had to work long hours. I would have missed out on this great summer.
Yeah.
I didn't really like the guy in charge,
Yes.
Yes.
And you can turn it around that quickly.
And
Absolutely.
don't we, I should say, want to live our lives like that?
We
where everything is happening for our highest good.
yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and that
Yes.
took me a while to get that one, and I've never been like, oh, why is this happening to me? But certain things I've wanted in my life, I had a lot of the comparisonitis, and and I was able to switch that around to, oh, if they can do it, so can I. Do I have the same tools they have? Maybe, maybe not. Do I know how to do this? No, but like we were talking with starting gratitude, you just start somewhere. What do
Just
I
start
know?
somewhere.
Who do I know? How can I make it from here? And if for me, a big thing is keeping myself out of the overwhelm of the biggest picture of what I want, so I can just be here now. And I used to think that was the dumbest ass statement ever, be here now. But it's all you can do. This is where you are, and this is where you start from. And so once I got that, that was that. It's a tiny shift, but so powerful.
This is one of the things that a friend of mine, we still laugh about it today, where I was about to do a concert and I had some backup singers and a little choir and stuff that was going to do this with me. And we had done rehearsals and everything. And I was like, it's concert day, right? So I told the singer, I had them all gathered around and I said, okay, so we've done rehearsals, we've done it all, you guys, everything is good. I said, so now I need you to just leave all that alone. Don't think about that. I need you to just be.
They were crazy nervous to be singing with Terry, just crazy nervous.
So I said to them, I said, just be. And my friend who didn't ascribe to this concept was like, what is he talking about? Just be. He's like, just be anywhere but right here, right now. And I was like, you know what? But the group understood it, they got it. And I was like, yeah, it's just be. That's all you gotta do. All the work is done. The work is done. So when it comes to gratitude, the work is done.
Yeah.
It's
And
already there for
I
you.
talk to a lot of people, my day job is a
Yeah.
spirit guide channeler.
Yes.
So I
Yeah.
talk to a lot of
Yeah.
spirit guides,
Yeah.
and the ultimate of where we are evolving as souls in our lifetime is
Mhm.
toward just being.
Yes.
That's where we're going. We're not going to the retirement date or the this or that.
Right.
We're going to being. And
Yeah.
for me, gratitude is the quickest way to get you to being.
Yes.
Yes.
That's exactly right.
Yes.
That's exactly
Yes.
what I'm saying. That's exactly where we are.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't understand how to get there.
Yes,
A
we
lot of
don't.
people, you're going
Yes,
right.
we
Right.
don't know how. We're not taught that. We don't talk about that.
Right, right.
No.
Hello, can we make a school of that? Well, yeah, we
That's
can.
funny. The second you guys were talking, I was going, gratitude school.
Yeah, I love a
You
gratitude
know that?
school.
Yeah. So that's the idea. If you can, what you want, just like it's so funny because I look at people when they're kids, when they're little babies, when they're just fine, they're crawling or whatever, not crawling at the beginning, and then they eventually crawl and they eventually walk. Now, what they don't get, what babies are not, what we don't do is we go, oh, here's your crawling school, or here's your walking school.
Right. Sign up now.
They do see examples. They see examples of other people crawling, other people walking. The crawling thing is they're just after something. That's the first thing. It's like, I was sucking on my little thing. What is it called? Those little pacifier. And that pacifier popped out and popped over there. Well, now guess what? I'm going to crawl over there until I'm going to get my pacifier. And that's what happens. And so then, but they see their mom and their dad and other people around, on just walking on the two legs. And they're like, what's going on there? And so, and so they eventually, when mom is like, when they're up holding on to whatever little table is or whatever, holding on to the sofa or whatever on that little thing, they're just holding on. And then mom is like, come on, come on. And they're like, oh, okay. And their focus is on where they're going. Their focus is on mom. Their focus is on getting there. And so they just start moving. And what? The work is done. These legs know how to do it. These arms know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And this balance, we're working it. Okay, okay, okay. Well, if I just, and you make all those adjustments, they make all those adjustments without worrying themselves. And when they hit the floor and mom goes, that's all right, baby. And the baby's like, okay, well, okay, sure. And the baby's like, okay, you know what? I'm crawling. And they just crawl on and they take it from there. But that's the idea behind gratitude practice. With gratitude practice, just start moving. Just go, have your goals, have your ideas, and look at those things. Focus. What is it? I forget all those little sayings. What you focus on, you get more of. All of those, whatever those sayings are. This is what you do. Focus. Focus on that. And allow gratitude to get you there, because it's so fun. It's just that little tiny little thing that's going into all the little parts of intelligence that are in you. You know what I'm saying? Because
It's such a tiny little thing, but it's the biggest thing.
it's the hugest.
Yes.
Because it is, what is it? It is everything we are. That's what gratitude is. It is everything we are. Because once you put that, once that is flowing, it's already there, really. You're just not noticing it, so you're not reaping the benefits.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
like the diamonds under the
Exactly.
house.
So you're not reaping
Then
the
they're all
benefits.
gone,
Exactly.
but
Because instead of me, like you were talking about something happening and you're going, oh, why me? Where you get to that thing. Now, I've been there. Don't get me wrong. I have been there where it's like, why? But if I pay attention to gratitude in that moment, and I go, like your friend said, I'm better off for not having that. There's more coming. I'm good. If you get there, all of a sudden, what happens to you when that thing goes down? I don't allow that to be the thing that goes into my body and tells my body that I should be depressed, that I should be upset, that I should be angry, that I should be all those things that aren't going to get me anywhere, that aren't going to do anything wonderful for me. It tells because I bring that gratitude in, it tells me, oh, you've got something even more coming.
Exactly.
So
Something
I'm
even
now
better.
excited. Yes, I'm excited now. I'm happy now. I'm joyous. I'm looking forward to something.
And we're the directors, so to speak, of our lives.
Yes.
Like, how do you want your life to be? Do you want to focus on the bad crap? Or do you want to believe that there's something else better, that everything works out? And it's not hard. This is not hard. So as we're back to not journaling every night, I don't do that. Instead, what I do is I think back to, like, what was the best thing that happened to me today? And it gets me to think about all the things, because I've set the filter. I'm not thinking about any bad things. I'm just thinking about the best thing. And then I'll be like, oh, today, well, I know what it's going to be tomorrow. I'm already setting my filter for tomorrow. I'm going to the fair with my son, the little county fair here in Bozeman. So, like, today was going to the fair, or today was the walk with my dog, or whatever it may be. And that's easy. Anybody can take 30 seconds to do that. Or when I get, every single time I go, I don't drive very often, but when I go in my car, I'm grateful I have a car. I'm grateful that I don't have a flat tire. All the tires have air. I'm grateful I have gas. Once again, that took 10 seconds.
Yes. One of the things I was thinking about is when you're when you want to be in this state on a constant, you need some kind of support. It's funny. We, just like the little kid who's learning to walk, they have that around them. They can see it. Other people are doing it. And so if you're in a group where gratitude is the thing that we're talking about, the thing that we're doing on a constant, and you get to see it over and over, you learn how it just, all of a sudden, you learn how to really implement it in your own life in the way that works for you. You start seeing, because not, Mary, for instance, she doesn't see, what is it,
I'm not visual.
visual. She
I
doesn't see
have
pictures and things.
aphantasia,
Right.
which is, you don't visualize at all.
Right.
Close my eyes and it's black.
Right. So she doesn't visualize. So there's another way that she gets to that gratitude. You see? So and I visualize like crazy, of course, because I'm the entertainer. So that's all I'm doing is I'm going, oh, and then this will be great. So that works for me to get in there. You don't feel like writing at the end of the day in a journal.
Right.
So that's not the way that's going to work for you. So you have a different way when as you say, oh, let me just think it. Let me actually, what is it? I don't even know if you're visualizing or if you're just audibly putting it in your head. But whatever it is, you get to that feeling, you get to that gratitude. If someone who's out there now, who's even listening right now, if someone's there and they're like, I don't really know what works for me. Well, look at this group. Look at this right in here. You see 3 different ways of doing it already. And that's how you go, oh, okay, well, maybe, hey, I don't visualize. Hey, so what she's doing may work for me. Hey, I don't like writing in a journal, so what she's doing may work for me. So this is hey, I like singing and dancing, so what he's doing may work for me. You know what I mean? So it just goes, and that's how you get in that community. Get in a community that is doing it so that you now can go, oh, okay, I can take that first step. So when your future is calling you, when your dreams are calling you, when your desires are calling you, you can say, oh, okay, I remember that she walked towards the dream like this. So I'll walk that way. Oh no, well, he walked like this, and that better fits the way I walk. So I'll walk that way. That's how it's done. That's how we're gonna learn. That's how we're gonna get to point B.
Yeah, that's lovely. And being an internal optimist, is you're like, if you don't know where to start, in my brain, I'm like, this is great because you can try out all the different ways.
There you
Every way
go.
works for you.
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah, because I know I've been on that journey for a while now, and I've tried some ways that I just love, and then others. Sometimes it takes me a minute to want to drop something because it's worked for somebody else. Then I don't like this. It doesn't make me feel good, and this isn't the feeling I'm going for. And so I drop that to the wayside. Like, I give myself permission, which I think, I don't know why, as human beings, I think I don't know if we're hardwired to make things hard, to look at things in a way that makes life harder. And it doesn't have to be that way. And that's like a retraining for all of us. It does not have to be that way.
Yeah. Gratitude should not be on your, oh my God, I have to do this list and check it off. That is not this.
Have I done my gratitude? And that's how Kirkland got for me. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to do this.
You're missing the whole point if that is how you're approaching it.
Yeah.
And you're putting out a message that you're not really gonna want what's coming back. What are we magnetizing? We're magnetizing I gotta do. And so that's the rest of your life? I don't think so. No.
So give yourself permission to do what feels good.
Hello.
We've talked before. So you were telling me recently, your goal right now is to have fun in everything you do, like just spend time doing. And I have to tell you, I've done some of that. Some of it's been a chore. And I know it's my old conditioning. Like, I'm enjoying this. I should be working right now. And then I make myself feel bad. I was like, she gave me a great thing. Because I remember talking to you and being like, oh my God, I'm just supposed to have fun right now. Yay. And then it took me maybe by the end of that day, I was like, with what? Like, I don't know with what. Like, I'm making a job out of having fun. And so I'm still,
Right.
making my peace with that because I want to have fun.
But that's
And I
the
know that great stuff comes from that.
I was gonna say that's kind of it's second nature to humans, right? Is we're constantly trying to be where we always were, even though we want to be somewhere else. We're where we always were because we're comfortable there. And even though we don't think it's comfortable, because we're like, oh, I hate this so much. But then somebody says, oh, okay, well, step over here. And you're like, I can step over there. And you're like, but you hate that. Why?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you step
But I
over
don't
here?
know that.
Exactly, but I don't know that. So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to make me better. Well, it can't be worse than you hating this. So it's this idea that you're trying so desperately to hold on, and that desperate holding on is something that's trying to keep you safe. That's something else in your body where you're like, okay, if I'm where I know how to navigate, I'm safe. Well, guess what? You're safe, period. You're safe,
Right.
period.
Yeah.
Right.
So you can
And
move.
we all have diamonds under our house.
Hello.
Yes.
All of us.
Yes.
You
Hello.
know,
Yes.
yes.
Yes,
we do.
indeed.
But before we leave, Mary, you were telling me about this thing that you saw that Oprah does, where she practices. Could you share that with us?
Yes, it's just a really quick thing she does where it takes a total of maybe 17 seconds
Yes.
where
Mhm.
she just close your eyes
Mhm.
and then you're going to breathe in, and as you breathe out you can say it out loud or to yourself, just the words thank you. So you're breathing in and back out the words thank you, and do that for 17 seconds. And her being a very blunt person who's she will say of herself that she is like a powerful manifester, and so we all know that to be true. So when she talks about this, I believe it. So she said, if you cannot make 17 seconds for yourself in your life, then you do not deserve what it is you say you want, because we all have 17 seconds, and so that sounds harsh, but it's like, how badly do you want a different life? Or maybe you love your life, but it can always be even greater. Like, have you manifested all you want? Do you want to travel? Do you want to have a greater group of friends? I don't mean greater, but like maybe more friends, whatever it is, focus on the things that will help you with that. Just breathe in, breathe out. Thank you. That's
Mhm.
And the reminder that, because I did that when you were saying it, I did it. And it's like you immediately feel better. We
yes,
don't have to wait. We
That's
have
right.
control of how we feel right this second.
In this
And
yes,
I think we
moment.
forget that
yes,
so
Yes.
often.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
I was
Yes.
shocked at how simple that was, because I was like, oh my God, I can just do that all day long. And I've made it really complicated. I do things that I'm happy with. I do hypnosis, I read, I write, I'm not a journaler, but I write kind of the same thing every day to instill it in my mind. And she had thoughts about that too. She's like, I used to do vision boards, and she said, I don't anymore, because once you have that picture, it's out there in the universe. It's doing its thing. It's happening. If you're just reminding yourself every day, it's like you don't trust that it's happening. You don't believe it. So that was her view on it. I was like, oh,
And
okay.
it's
I'm going to make it simpler.
and it's funny. It's you got to think about it. And let's go back to the baby walking. You got to think about it. You may take a few steps and you didn't make it to mom, right? But you take a few steps and you're down, right? Well, those first few steps give you the confidence to go just a little bit further. And it keeps happening that way until you get to mom. So that's what I think when it comes to what do you call it? Making those pictures on the board.
Oh,
Vision
board.
boards.
Yeah.
I'm just visual. I can't remember words. But when you make when you're doing the vision board or when you're journaling or all those kinds of things, those are the things to just get your head wrapped around the idea and get you this confidence, get you the kind of started that you need,
Yeah.
because remembering things or keeping things in your mind about what it is you really want. Like I want to be happy, which was one of my childhood dreams, to hurry up and get happy, because I was not. As a kid, I was not a happy
That's
kid.
a whole
So
other
that's a whole other show, isn't it?
podcast.
But so to want to be happy is one thing. To when you feel this happiness that you go, oh my God, that's exactly what I want right there. I want this kind of joy, this kind of happiness. And you get that, and then you immediately back into depression, or you immediately back into all this other stuff. Well, for that one moment that you felt that, you're like, okay, it's possible. It's possible. Now, your first thought is it's only possible for this second. It's not possible for a long term. And then you start doing it even longer and longer. It becomes 5 minutes, it becomes hours, it becomes days, months, years. It becomes all those things, because you now have your confidence in it is growing. Your understanding of how it really works grows. And so it just becomes, it's
And-
life
and-
as it is for you. It's
Yeah.
life now. You're like,
Yeah.
gratitude is my life.
As you see, we can talk about this all day long.
Well, I attribute my fabulous life, and I'm the first one to admit how incredibly great it is, to gratitude.
Yeah.
Honestly, that is the game changer for me, is
Isn't it?
gratitude in everything.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you two being here
Wow.
so much to talk about all of this and helping us
Thank you.
along on our gratitude journey. So
Thank you for having us.
now people can connect with you at your website, gratitudeperks.com, and then also on Instagram. You're
Yes.
there too. So if you want to surround yourself with positive people, this is the place to go. These are the people to surround yourself with. So
Can we share one more thing that we're doing?
oh yeah, absolutely.
We're starting a Facebook group. It's going to be a membership group. And the initial part of it, so we're gratitude percolators. And so the initial part is going to be like a really low fee, and then it's never going to be that low again. And we're just going to be supporting people who want to change their lives, or just want to be out there doing things for other people that kind of engender gratitude.
And giving the tools
Yeah.
to get into that gratitude life that you're living.
Right. So-
We're giving people who just don't see the diamonds, and we're
Right.
helping them see those diamonds. We're showing you how to
Yeah.
dig to get to those diamonds so that you can see them. They're under
Yeah.
there, but you
Yeah,
got to
so
see.
people can just go to our website to find out about that. Terry put that up. Yes.
Okay, it's on your website already, or should they sign
Yeah.
up for your
Yes.
newsletter? Okay, great. Fabulous. I
Yes.
love that. I love when people are prepared.
Yes.
You're the
He's our
best.
tech guy. So,
You are so wonderful.
Well,
I
thank
must-
you again, everyone. I appreciate you listening to us today on the Abundology podcast, and we'll see you again next time.